Hold on a second. All right, now we're live. Let me see where it's at. Now I gotta find it.
Okay.
Here we go. Um, I'm gonna share it to my page, and then you can go on my page. Yeah, just
Okay.
share it to my page.
Okay. You said we weren't live.
No, we are now.
Okay. Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, we are now. We are now. Um,
I'm gonna do a watch party.
okay.
Except I don't see that option.
Brother Pete, how you doing, Brother Pete? Welcome, sir. Welcome. And I gotta get with you, Brother Pete. I gotta give you a call, man, because I want to interview you down the line too, man. We are let me start sharing this in groups. Now we're live. Let me see where it's at. Now I gotta find it. We are oh, that's you. That's you. You gotta put it on mute. You gotta put it on mute.
All right, let me see how to do that.
Well, what were you looking from your iPad?
I'm doing it from my iPad, but I'm sharing it from my iPhone.
Oh, just turn the volume down.
Okay. Okay, right.
Yeah, so you won't get any feedback.
Okay.
So, welcome everybody. Welcome everybody that's watching. We are with former Buffalo police officer Cariol Horne, and we're doing a follow up with her. Um, she was last on Black Law Enforcement Unplugged a couple, I think, a month or two back, and we were discussing her issue, how she was unjustly fired by the Buffalo police department when she stopped a white cop from illegally choking a handcuffed black man, and then she was brought up on fictitious charges and later terminated. And she is still currently fighting for her pension. Um, I made a Facebook post um, earlier today, and I said black oppression is just as bad as white oppression. Actually, it's worse because it's black people oppressing black people. And what we see here, this is a prime example of what I was talking about. And some people like to say action, and we do action. I just don't talk about it. I be about it, and I speak about it, and I defend people that other black people turn their back on, just like this sister here in Buffalo. When I talk about black oppression, you have a black police commissioner, a black mayor up in Buffalo oppressing a black woman. So when people talk about well, more action, this is action. People come to me from Buffalo for action to expose the inaction of our black elected officials that have black oppression. So let's get into what we're talking about now up in Buffalo. Cariol, please give us an update and what just happened to your family that you feel is retaliation for you. Continue your ongoing speaking out about the injustice you had in the Buffalo Police Department.
Okay. Well, on January 25th, my daughter was stopped for a what the police said was for a headlight. And yes, her license was suspended because we paid all of the fines, but we didn't have the $750 to pay for the state fee. So so she was that was not the reason she was pulled over though. The reason she was pulled over was because of a headlight. And when they came to approach her about the headlight, they asked for her information. She told them she didn't have her license, and so she didn't have a license. And so then they asked for whose car was it, and she told them it was her sister's. And they asked for the information. So she was looking for the information, and then they asked her. I don't know what happened with the information because the car was legal, was straight with it. And then they asked her to step out of the vehicle. She asked them why would she have to step out of the vehicle for a headlight. And then that's when she said that they snatched her out of the car, and then they were twisting her arms, and the one lady cop was pulling her hair. um, the people in the car said that they dragged her. She doesn't remember being dragged, but she had like a headache and everything when she called me from jail, and she was telling me about what happened. I was like very upset, but I was in Charlotte, North Carolina at the time, so I could I called the jail. I called people to just make sure that they called and made sure that she was okay. She wasn't there for a while, so then once she did get there and she was able to call me and she told me what happened, I was very upset about it. This happens not just to my daughter, but to a lot of people where the police use a traffic stop to escalate it to an arrest, and it's really out of hand.
Yeah.
And we
Let me ask you a question for those who are listening, and you said that your daughter did not have a license. She was having issues in paying the fines. And
right.
what is the Buffalo Police Department uh, policy when they come across an incident like this, when someone might be driving and they might not know that their license is suspended, or what is the and they're driving a family member's car. um, what is the policy, um, since you are a former Buffalo police officer, into how to handle that? Because all police departments, they're not all the same. So what is the Buffalo Police Department policy in how to handle that?
To give her a ticket. They should have given her a ticket. Now they didn't even know that she didn't have a license. I mean that she didn't, or her license was suspended at first. They were pulling her over for a headlight.
Right.
So to pull her out of the car for a headlight, and for what they were really upset about was because she asked, why were they pulling her out? Like, why do I have to get out of the car for a headlight if you're just pulling me over for a headlight? And that's another thing. The police are offended by people asking questions. So, she didn't fight with the police. They charged her with resisting arrest. She doesn't have to help with her own arrest, but she wasn't resisting. Um, it's like they use that charge pretty much when they don't have anything else. And also, she was charged with resisting and obstructing.
Yeah, usually, yeah.
hmm And it's normally the third one that we call it the trilogy is harassment. She wasn't charged with the harassment, but it's charges that are made up, and these are charges that I know are made up because this is what we were taught in the academy is to make up these charges. I personally didn't do Really, I was personally didn't do traffic stops because it wasn't fair. It's like if the person you pulled over, they could have been drunk or whatever, and this was situations that happen. If they knew the mayor or the commissioner or whatever, then you let them go. So I just felt like, why am I going to pull poor people over and take their car and do all of this when if somebody knows somebody who knows somebody, then they don't get the same treatment. So I never did it. No. Let me take that back. It's not like I never did it, but I can probably count the number of times that I did a traffic stop. Maybe if there was an accident or something like that, then that's one thing. But to just pull people over, I didn't do that. No matter what they
Oh,
did.
so let's go back before we get to the video. Um, let's go back and you had also said that you were taught this way. Uh,
Hmm.
I've always stated when I have um, when I do how to survive police confrontation. Um, the National Black Police Association, I believe in the '70s, started. What do you do when you stop by the police? And because black people were being killed and hurt,
Still are.
we changed it to how do you survive police confrontation because of these issues. And I've always stated that uh, police officers, law enforcement officers, we are trained to justify our actions, good or bad, in writing. In how we write in a report. So whether we are justified in our actions or whether our actions are made up and not and really have no justifiable reasons, we are still taught how to justify our actions. Uh,
And that charge of resisting is one of them.
yes, yes, because when usually when someone is arrested, resisting arrest, obstruction of governmental administration is always added, because if a person feels that they are not, they should not be arrested. Their instinct, their inner instinct, is to pull away, and then they automatically get a resisting arrest charge, um, and then obstruction of governmental administration, and you said now harassment. So we
Well, harassment wasn't included in
right,
her, charge,
yeah, but
but normally it is.
right. That's what I was saying because
Mhm.
normally harassment is so. The people that are watching, you know, the you have to watch yourself, and this goes into, dealing with police officers on traffic stops, on Terry stops, and strip searches and what have you. We have to have an action plan. Now, when when they um when they pulled her, you said that they pulled her out of the car, and I did ask you about Buffalo's policy in dealing with traffic, and you said they just will give a ticket. uh
Mhm.
Now, is that at as the officer's discretion, or do
Everything is at the officer's discretion unless you have a complainant. So if the officer chose to pull her over and they said, "Hey, you got a headlight out. You need to get that fixed. Let me see your license, registration, insurance card." And she says, "Well, I don't have a license." Then okay, well, you can't drive the car. I get that, but to say, step out of the car, it's like, what is that about? And so for her to ask, "Why do I have to step out the car if you're pulling me over for a headlight?" Then that's one thing. But first of all, if I'm telling you I don't have a license and you tell me, okay, well, you can't drive the car, you got to step out of the car, fine. But to just say, and I don't even know if at that point they knew, and if she was here I would ask her, but she's not. So
Mm.
even, I'm just saying, if she says, "Okay, I don't have a license," they say, "Well, give me whose car is it?" "It's my sister's car." "Give me the information." Where is it that they had to yank her out of the car? So then you can hear in the video where she's saying that they didn't have to do that. They could have like asked her to get out, but it's in the beginning of the video. You have to listen um, real close.
Well, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. When I first thing first, when they didn't have no reason.
No, no, don't play that one. That one was my conversation with
Yeah,
her.
yeah, I know. I stopped that real quick.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
Um,
I don't play yet.
um, all right. So we're going to play. We're going to play the first video you sent me. Uh,
Mhm.
If I could get it to show on the screen, what just happened?
Ian Bailey.
Okay, show on screen. So it's not allowing me to do anything here. Very interesting now. Um, let me see something. 1 second. All right.
Yeah. So the thing about it is the treatment of my daughter. It's not about the stop itself.
Right, right, right. I'm trying to get it to show. Um, it doesn't want me to show.
And then also, I mean, I don't know if you want to like play it and we discuss it, or you play snippets and we discuss it.
And I'm trying to get it in now, but it seems that we are having some problems.
Hmm.
Uh, some technical problems here. Trying to.
Well, even so, afterwards, well, no, because then I'll be going too far ahead, so I'll just wait.
Well, let's continue to talk. Uh,
Hmm.
so, recap for the people that are watching while I'm doing this, trying to get this video up. What you went through with the police department, and why do you feel that this ended up, this normal traffic stop um, ended up as possible retaliation against you?
Okay, so as a police officer, I stopped my coworker, who was a white male, from choking a handcuffed black male. Um, we were there because of a check that supposedly came in the mail. So when I got there, he was handcuffed. So I knew he was under arrest. I helped get him out of the house. And when we were walking to our patrol cars, this officer decided to stop and start choking the suspect, whose name is Neil Mack.
Right.
So when I stopped him, he punched me in the face. And so then when I went to defend myself, two officers got between us and two officers pulled me back, tearing my rotator cuff. Okay, you got it on there now on the
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so and
Well,
so
still tell the story.
so then afterwards, I was fired. Um, they lied. They well, the officer lied. They said I jumped on his back, which was not true because there was a suspect between us. There was no way, and we were face to face, so there was no way for me to jump on his back. I was fired. He was promoted. He continued to beat on people. There was an officer that he choked on duty after he became lieutenant because he was promoted, and one that um, he got into a fight with off duty, and then he was brought up on civil rights charges, federal civil rights charges, where there was a young man. There were four young men. One was shot with a BB gun by the officers. And so he took a plea and went to jail for that. He still has his pension. I don't have my pension. They refused to give it to me. Basically, I'm still I'm being made as the villain.
Exactly.
So during this traffic stop, um, the officers were being recorded. So when they went to search the car, they did not know that they were being recorded, and they mentioned my name. Like I said, I was in North Carolina. I wasn't there at the traffic stop. The car is not in my name, so there was no reason to even mention my name unless it was personal,
Right. Now,
and that's how I feel.
right. Now let me ask you, because I want to get to the video, but also the white cop who pled guilty to violating, and I think people need to listen. The white cop who pled guilty into violating people's rights has his pension, correct?
Correct.
And you, a black female officer who tried to stop, or you stopped this same white cop uh, before the government came in. You stopped him from choking a handcuffed, apprehended black man, correct?
Correct.
And you don't have your pension.
No, I don't have mine.
And this is a black mayor and
Black
a
man.
black police commissioner.
This police commissioner is the one that fired me.
Exactly. So when I talk about, again, for those who like to say, when I talk about black oppression to black people by black governments, here's another example.
Exactly.
So and this is a shame, but this is not new. This goes on in police departments all over the country, where we have black officers who cross that blue line to do for their community and protect their community, whether black or white. Um, and then they are made the victim. And it's even worse when we have black government officials and black officials that black people voted into office. And then we wonder why black cops don't say anything, or black law enforcement stay silent. So I want to get into this video here, and then we're going to go down a little bit, because there's also an incident where a pregnant woman that's in the car, and they wanted her to come out the car, and I want you to speak on that from Buffalo police policy, and why would they do that, and if they did that, was it correct? Let's start the video.
Check this out. We're 492. There's one more car here. This is one more car. Destiny, babe, call her mom. Yeah, call mom. Call her mom. This shit is not. I'm getting out. I'm not. Stay in the car. Stay in the car. Stay in the car. For what? Stay in the car. I'm not the one driving. Stay in the car. Stay here for. You stay in the car. Close the door. Stay in the car. Keep being extra. Close the door. Stay in the car. I'm staying in the car. Don't you see me staying here? Close the door. They touch on me. Please close it. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I'm pregnant. Please put your hands on me. Please do, because I didn't do shit. I'm not the one driving. You can't hold me for nothing. I'm not driving. I can walk away if I want to. I'm not driving. Where's her phone? I don't even know her password. Just say mom. Let me see her phone. That's crazy. Stop pushing. Are you serious? Yo, yeah. This shit is crazy. Put your phone down. Don't touch me. I can record. I'm pregnant. Put the phone down. Put it down. Touch me. Put the phone down. I'm pregnant. Turn around. Turn around. Put the phone down. Yep. They turn around. Nobody moved. I didn't do shit. I'm pregnant. Nobody is moving, so you don't have to say all that, sir. I didn't do nothing. I just said I'm being arrested for recording. So why y'all getting so arrested? I'm being arrested. Everybody is. She pregnant. That's my baby mom. That's my baby mom. She pregnant. Calm down. Shut up. Man is not supposed to be arresting females. I have to shut up. Okay, thank you. I'm not with you. I have to be quiet at all. I'm not with you. I'm not with you. I don't have to be quiet at all. That's what the fuck you do. I go over the fucking swag out of here. I'm walking on the fucking
I can't hear anything.
Oh, can you hear it? Can you hear it now?
Yes.
Yeah, I had it on solo. Maybe I tried to widen the screen up. All right, so basically the rest of that video is that. So We got Sonia Wiggins Pruitt watching from the National Black Police Association. Judge Adrian Armstrong, Mount Vernon judge, is watching. Monique James, Yimes Green, AJ Woodson, Terry Watson, Elizabeth Singletary. Welcome everybody. We're doing an update with my sister from Buffalo, Cariol Horne, former Buffalo police officer. Um, we were watching a video of a traffic stop of her family by the Buffalo Police Department. So in the video, we hear your daughter. Um, we hear your daughter in the back screaming as they were arresting her. You earlier said that in Buffalo Police Department policy, they do not have to arrest someone that doesn't have a license or have an issue with their license uh, when they pull them over for a traffic stop. They could just give them a ticket. So it is not normal act to arrest somebody for that.
Well, I would say that it wasn't normal because they use any reason to lock people up.
Exactly, exactly. Now let's talk about the passenger.
Hmm.
It if is it policy that the passenger, if they feel first of all, it's never policy to talk to people in the manner that they talk to people.
Hmm.
Is it policy that the passenger has to stay in the car?
Well, I mean, even if I was doing a car stop, I don't think I want people just wandering off. But she saw what the people were doing, what the cops were doing to my daughter, so she wanted to get out of there.
Right, right. Now, is it policy to allow somebody to leave if they're not the driver?
Well, to tell you the truth, because I was taught wrong on a lot of things, I don't know. I personally don't feel like I would have let somebody just leave.
Right, right,
But
right.
I I wouldn't have I wouldn't have said, stay in the car and then arrested them for videotaping me.
Well, if she was pregnant and she wanted to stand up because of sitting in the car long, I mean, I don't see if there was any problem. But
I
there was
did
poor communication.
Yeah, I don't think that she did anything wrong, and I think she wanted to leave for the right reasons. She didn't want to be a part of it,
Right,
and they made her a part of it anyway.
right. Now, what was the point of arrest? Did she get arrested too?
No, she got detained. She got cuffed. So as
She
far
got
as I'm
arrested. If they put cuffs on her, she was arrested.
exactly.
If they put cuffs on her, she was arrested, and she need to get a lawyer too.
But if yeah, so if you listen to the video, she'll say, "Why am I being arrested for recording?" And he says, "No, you're being detained.
No, no,
You're not being arrested. You're being detained." That's what he
no.
says.
If you put cuffs on me, you're arresting me. That-
Exactly.
if you want me to sit somewhere, sit down over there, then you're detaining me. But once
Right.
the cuffs go on, they have arrested her.
Right. So first he says, "Stay in the car," and then he goes and yanks her out of the car.
Right, right. Well, I mean, this is another thing I teach in my class, that we have to be mindful, not being victims of POP, pissing off the police officer, because once we piss off the police officer, they always want to show that they have authority to do what
Right.
they want to do with our lives in that moment. And
Exactly.
and if we disagree with them, we end up in 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 cuffs, just like the pregnant sister. She ended up with cuffs. But if again, once they put cuffs on her, you know, they they have arrested her. It's not That's not the I haven't seen any policy that says putting cuffs on is detaining a person.
Exactly.
And if someone knows of a police department that has a policy that putting cuffs on somebody is detaining a person, please inbox me and show me that, and show me that. Um, so we want to. I want to get into the next video where, um, your name was actually, where your name was actually mentioned. I'm going to go down to the last minute.
But let me explain this for a second.
Okay.
So after they detained slash arrested the pregnant one, um, he made her put her phone down, but her phone was still recording. So when they got everybody out of the car, and then they went back to search the car, and there was nothing in it, but they didn't have permission to search it. But when they went back to search the car, um, then it was recording. So when it was recording, that's when they mentioned my name. Like I said, I was in North Carolina, so I wasn't there. The car is not registered to me. So I don't know why, unless it's retaliatory. And that's how I feel like it was retaliatory. And well, I mean, you can go ahead and play it.
Okay.
But then afterwards they deleted the video,
Uh-huh.
but she was able to recover it because of the type of phone she had. So
Right.
go ahead.
Let's see if we can.
Okay.
I don't know what that means. Her license is revoked. Search you? Yeah. Because if it was just her being an asshole. Are you saying about searching? Yeah. I thought you were talking about the girl in our car. No. Yeah, they're all going to be good to go. Who is this? Carol Horne, that girl.
There you go. So y'all heard it. Um, they brought Carolyn name into the picture, um, which is you know, which is a sad situation. Where are you now? Your daughter and as far as dealing with this issue, Carolyn.
Okay, so we have to go and file a formal complaint. So I just got back to Buffalo.
Okay.
So we have to go back and file a formal complaint. Um, I don't have any faith in that, but we have to take the steps.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to do that next week. And then she has to go to court on the 14th for these charges.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's
Okay. Well, we're with you 100%. Um, we are with you, and we support you. We support you 100%. So I'm going to read some of the statements that we have. We have Nate Sloan, keep fighting. Carolyn Horne, Robert Harris Jr., constitutional rights include due process. Calvin Gibbons, wave. Fatine Akron, good morning, Ms. Horne. We are with you. Joshua Harris, why are you talking about policy, not law? If not stopped, Terry Watson, Damon Jones is a good point. Joshua Harris, he don't watch my videos. The law stopped talking about policy. Well, Joshua Harris, we talk about policy because policy, even you gotta deal with policy first. Did they follow departmental policy or not? We are taught policy, and each department is different. We could talk about law, but first, did they follow policy or not? Because if you're following departmental policy, if they say that this cop was following departmental policy, then that cop is not going to be held accountable for his actions because he's following the policies that are set, even if the policies might violate the law. But you're going to have to go to court and prove that these policies violate the law. So it always starts with departmental policy and what these officers are doing. Are they following policy? Yes or no? Did they follow policy? What is it? Because policies, as one someone just made a comment. I'm trying to find the comment, and who it was. Um, Sonia Wiggins Pruitt. She said policy is a way to hold officers accountable, at least administratively. So, and that's the president of the National Black Police Association, my sister Sonia Wiggins. So we have to talk policy. Policy is the beginning of all conversations, because policy is supposed to be based on the law, and then we get into law after if we found out. And because if it's not them, as she said, it's the administrative. You can hold administrative accountable if these officers are violating policy. So please, Caroline, keep us updated in what's going on. Our brother Corey Begees just popped in. What's up, brother Corey? He just popped in, but please keep us abreast with what is going on, and what's up, Corey? What's happening, my brother? Please keep us abreast with what's going on, because you have our support, and whatever we could do, and to support you and support your family, please let us know. I know we all supposed to get together, me, you, Terry, and talk about what's going on. So hopefully do that soon. Um, and my sister, man, we're here for you. We're here to try to keep this out there, and keep people talking about it. I hope people from Buffalo can watch this and see what's actually going on, and put a light underneath their behinds. Um, um, he said the Bronx is on fire. Yes, sir, brother. I saw that someone went into the police department. Shout out to the police department in the Bronx. That's crazy.
When did that?
I think it happened today or yesterday. It was huh?
We're tired.
Yeah, yeah. Corey McGee said, we love you, Cariol.
Oh
So,
my love. Thanks.
yeah, you know. So, if anything else you want to tell the listeners while we have you on.
Well, we have been protesting and going to our so-called leaders. I don't even like calling them leaders no more. To try to get change, and it has not happened. So, when people ask me, well, what am I supposed to do when pulled over by the police? And my thing is, there's nothing that you can do except what they ask you to. Now, the treatment you get kind of depends on them. If they don't like the questions that you're asking or whatever, if they get, like in my daughter's case, she asked why did she have to get out of the car if she was only being pulled over for a headlight. And instead of just answering the question, they yanked her out. So it's not about what you can do. I mean, you do have the right to remain silent, but then they would get upset. Certain officers would get upset about that. So, I mean, if they pull you out or whatever, you can just try to comply. Just like when they were twisting my daughter's arms different ways, and it was three officers. They were putting her in pain. So if she's moving around, she's in pain. But then they would say, oh, she's resisting arrest. So I have a real big problem with that because it was three officers, one pulling her hair and two of them twisting her arms different types of ways. So they were purposely trying to inflict pain on her, and I have a problem with that. So if she can't, not just my daughter, but anybody, but in this case, my daughter, because it's my daughter,
Hmm.
she can't if she can't get pulled over for a simple traffic stop and they're doing all of that, then I don't know. They've backed me into a corner. So I don't know what they expect me to do. So now my fight and flight instincts are kicking in, and I'm not going to sit back and just let them kill me or my kids, you
Exactly.
know,
Absolutely.
because they feel that they can't get me quiet. All of these years, I keep talking. Whatever they do, anything that I've been through, I've just brushed it off and just kept going. So now you want to bother my daughter? I have a problem with that, and it's not going to continue to happen. So for me, I'm going to do what I have to do to protect myself. So
Right.
I'm not going to try to sugarcoat nothing because now they've come for me. They pushed me into a corner. So only thing for me to do is to fight or
And-
kill or be killed.
mm,
And I'm to that point where I'm not afraid. It's
that's
like
right.
I'm not afraid, but I can't help anybody if I'm dead,
That's
you
right.
know, or in jail. So I'm trying to handle it the right way. But I've gone to pastors, I've gone to the FBI, I've gone to the DA, I've gone to any and everybody. When people say, "Well, did you do this? Did you do that?" I've done everything. And it continues to happen. And like I said, I brushed it off. So now they're coming after my child. It's not gonna happen. I'm telling you now. I'm not gonna sit back and just let my daughter go through what I've gone through all of these years because people just choose to just sit back and be silent. So right now I'm just to the point where you're either with me or you're against me.
That's right.
That's how I look at it.
Right.
So all the people that want to be silent, you got the mayor's ear. I'm not scared to die. I'm
Mm,
not scared to kill somebody. So only thing I want to do is get my pension and be left alone. That's all I want. And I don't know why that's so difficult. You put this guy in jail. I told you what he did years before he went to jail. And you put him in jail and you still gave him his pension. And now I have to keep suffering. My daughter's fines was not paid because we don't have the money. We were just homeless in September. So we just got into an apartment. So now we don't have the money to pay up all of the stuff. My license is suspended now as of yesterday because I don't have the money to pay it. And I'm not like begging people for money or anything like that. It's just that we rolling with the punches.
mm,
But now to have somebody do this, it's not gonna stand. I'm telling you now, it's not. I'm tired.
mm, mm. Well, this is how black governance works. We're not.
The black government decided to do what the system has already been doing instead of saying, you know what, we are tired, we've had enough, we're going to make changes.
Yeah,
Instead, they choose
and
to
you did,
turn
right,
a blind eye. Excuse me.
and you didn't do it, and you didn't do wrong. And that's the crazy thing.
I've been made a villain, just like you heard my name. Why was my name even being mentioned? I was not even in town.
Mm, yeah. Well, please keep us abreast, and if you have anything you want the listeners to know, the people to know, as we share this, I'm a phone call away. We get right up on live and inform the people what's going on. You know,
Yep. I tell people that you can't predict what the cops are going to do.
mm,
But under Article 35 on the New York State penal law, you are allowed to protect yourself and protect a third person. So you don't have to sit and watch police kill or beat on people. You don't have to do that. They're not going to tell you that, but you read Article 35 for yourself.
it's
And
just
I'm
not
not
for,
suggesting.
that's right. It's just not for police officers.
Excuse me? Exactly. It's not just for police officers. So people, we have to learn the law because that's what they're using against us. And I'm not going to fight with the police because I know that that's going to be a losing battle right there. So I'm not just going to go out and start fighting police or shooting them and killing them. And I'm not suggesting that anybody else do that. But what I am saying is protect yourself and protect the people that you love. And that is exactly what I'm going to do.
Exactly.
So if I mean, I thank God I was not in town because I was so mad. I mean, it took me over a week to get calm enough to say, okay, I have to strategize, I have to think. And so that's what I've been doing because I was like, nope, I'm not gonna let it happen. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And I had to calm down.
Mm,
But now that I am calm, I am saying, you don't have to sit back. Nobody has to sit back and be abused by the police. Nobody. You have the same rights that they have. So when they say they fear for their lives, we fear for ours. And I definitely fear for mine now. So I
thank
do that.
you, sis. Thank you. And like I said, whatever we could do, we're gonna try to do. I gotta get on the phone with Terry and see and um, let me know, man. We could come up there and do a class. How you survive police confrontation. If you got
You
it,
got to,
huh?
you got to, do you have an answer for that?
What? Yeah, I gotta. Yeah, I got.
What,
Trust me.
how do you,
Trust me. I got a whole program for that. That I mean, we have to be smarter all around when dealing with police officers, in traffic stops and Terry stops, and we have to. Uh, Sometimes we have to bite our tongue because the goal. I mean, look,
we've been biting our tongues. That's why we're
exactly. But
still in
yeah, but
position.
you know what? My whole thing is this: you got to get home. Look, as a law enforcement officer, right?
Hmm.
We want to go home to our families, and they get to an extreme. Let me finish. As black
Hmm.
people, right? We got to get home to our families, you know, and then we fight that, and then we fight the fight. Well, but we fight the fight after we're home. We fight the fight after we're home, and I think I.
I've been doing last,
Mhm.
God, over the last 13 years.
No, I get it. I get it.
Hmm.
I get it, but we have to have the same mentality as they used to have back in the 20s and 30s. They wanted to
But
get because you have to look where you're no good to your family dead. You fighting for your rights. With
well,
when someone that can shoot you.
I'm not good for him alive either because look, she wouldn't have got beat if
Well,
I was in.
you are good for them alive because they are fearing what's coming out of your mouth. So we know that. We know they're fearing what's coming out of your mouth. So when people fear that comes out of your mouth, they attack you for no reason, right? They do sucker shit for no reason because they fear what comes out of your mouth. And that's what happens. It's just not you. A lot of people that speak truth to power, that tell the truth, they're feared, and those people that fear you do things to you, your family. Look, I'm talking this out of experience. I'm not talking to you, out just saying it. I'm talking to you from experience. They're fearing what's coming out of your mouth. So you continue to do that. But there's going to be some, as my mother, God bless the dead, she's always telling me, you know what, that's another bump in the road. Just another bump in the road, of just a bump in the road. But we have to learn how to handle it. But we also have to teach our children and our grandbabies how to survive these police officers, whether they're black or white, because we want them to come home, right? And we have to teach them the skills to get home. And then when they get home and they're in our bosom and they tell us what's happening, then we have to have an action plan to deal with.
Okay, so make this a teachable moment for anybody who's heard this. What do you think my daughter should have done differently? And it's not gonna hurt my feelings. Just be
I
straight
don't,
up.
you know what? I don't know because I really I can't say what she should have done differently because of the fact that she did everything from what you're telling me. She did everything correct, and then they still took her out of the car. That's why I asked you first. What's the policy, right? Do they have a right to just if someone says, look, someone's license come up, suspended or whatever, can happen to anybody, right? You wouldn't even know, right? You wouldn't even know, right? So
Mhm.
what's proper protocol? What's proper protocol? That's why I asked you. So you said, well, they could write him a ticket. The driver's there. He could drive. All type of different stuff. They could call the owner on make him call the owner on a car to snatch him out. Right? Was to the extreme. So the question is, how did we get to that extreme? What was the officer? How was his response? Because the video doesn't show everything. I'm not saying she's wrong, or I'm not saying she's right. All I'm saying is that we have to have a discussion more with our children in how to survive police encounters, right?
I
We
don't I don't teach my kids to fight with the police or to disobey the police. They already know.
No, 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 I get that. I no, 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 I get that. And to the fact that we, even though we might be respectful and all that, we still might end up in that situation. So the question is, like, what do you do after that? Because a lot of people don't know. Even, let me tell you something, even police officers that's put in your daughter's situation and being pulled over, they don't know how to be responsible because they had never been on that side, right?
Mhm.
And even as a black law enforcement officer, I've been pulled over, right? And then when you're in that position, right, and you're questioned, sometimes you don't know how to respond. Especially when you don't have your slave badge on you, right? When you can't pull out your badge and say, look, boss, I'm one of y'all. Can I go? Right? And then they let you go. But when you don't have that, you're a black man and you're a black woman, and that's what that cop sees, whether he's black or white. Because let's not be fooled to think just because it's a black cop, right, that he's not racially profiling, right? Because he's not racially profiling. Let's dismiss all that nonsense, right? That just because he's a black cop too. So we have to learn how to deal with it. I'm not saying she's right or wrong because that video doesn't tell all. But I am saying that we have to teach our children more. And so our children won't end up in those situations. And we always have to remember that the police officer, right, at the end of the day is going to write a report, right? They act different when you got all the cell phones up. Thank God they had all the cell phones up. God knows what would have happened if they didn't have the cell phones up. So, like the
Right.
cell phone for
But
your child.
Bill was Bill was dragged out of the car. The pregnant one was still dragged out of the car.
No, 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 and you're absolutely right. But now she has something. She has something, and and
Mhm.
and to the fact that, and to the fact that they put cuffs on her and then took the cuffs off. She should be getting a lawyer. And she should be getting a straight up lawyer. They should never put the cuffs on her without arresting her. You don't detain somebody and put cuffs on. And that's why I asked you. If you
They
ever seen that
all
policy.
four,
Hmm.
they put the cuffs on all four of them, and then there were like
Really?
a lot of police cars, a lot of police, and you can hear the officer calling for backup.
Well, I mean, I see. I don't know the dynamic of Buffalo,
Hmm.
but I know there's got to be a lawyer up there somewhere, because that's crazy, And like I asked you before, like, what the hell is the NAACP doing, the Urban League? I mean, and you're saying nothing, but they got to do something. Like, what the hell is going on? I mean, this is crazy because you have a black mayor and a black police commissioner, and all this is going on, and nobody's saying anything, and
They're
and that's sad.
they're useless. They actually got all of these people under their control, so they're not doing anything. Even the pastors. I mean, I have some of my favorite pastors, but still, they're not doing anything either.
Wow.
I,
Wow. Listen, this is amazing. But I mean, it's not new.
no,
It's not new, and it's not
they
new to Buffalo, and it's
just
not new to other black governed cities.
Yeah, it's disappointing, especially
That's what it is.
it is.
That that that's that's what it is. It's disappointing, but we just have to continue to have these conversations, on these issues, and I thank you being brave enough to discuss it, and
Thank you.
please share this throughout all the different Buffalo pages. Or they got to be some group pages
I will.
that Black folks in Buffalo get on, and they need to be aware about it. And like I said, we do a program, and if you find anybody that would like me to come up, let's work it out. In the next few months, and I'll try to get up there and actually do a class and talk about, putting you. We got to put our people in the mindset and how to deal with this. You know,
I think I would like for us to meet with the mayor and the commissioner. So I'll try to set that up. We can set that up because there needs change. Hmm?
let's do that too.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do that too. I haven't been to Buffalo in a long, 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 long time.
I want to wait till it's a little warmer, but
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. Yeah, please, let's do it when it's over 65. And please, let's set it up when it's over 65 degrees, because it's cold
Mhm.
up there, man. I can't deal with that cold. But yeah, let's make that happen. Let's make that.
Okay.
All right. So
Yes, sir.
I thank you again. I thank you again, and like I said, sis, whenever you need to come on and talk about what's going on up there in Buffalo, let me know. It doesn't even have to be this. It could be any other things of your concern that
Okay.
that people in Buffalo need to know. This is where Black law enforcement is unplugged about the issues in our community.
And thank you, Terry, because I need you here too. So we'll strategize.
All right, all right. Thank
So
you.
much.
You're welcome.
All right. Appreciate you.
Bye now.